Hello, Janksters, and welcome to another edition of the MagicJank podcast, the show where members of Team MagicJank get together and we talk about what's going on in Magic the Gathering and, without a doubt, talk about Standard because it's a format that we all love. Let's be real. My name's Graham. I go by HamHawks42 on the internet, and I'm joined by two lovely gentlemen. Starting off with CarloMTG, formerly Steve Harper Jr. How we doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. How about yourself?
Dude, always a pleasure, man. Looking forward to our banter today. We're extending more banter because you and I were actually hanging out earlier, talking some commentary and talking Standard as it was happening, which was a good time. And that event was actually hosted by our other co-host, Jaffer. How's it going, Jaffer?
Doing okay.
Dude.
How are you guys doing?
Doing great. Thank you for putting on that tournament earlier. I got to say, it was an absolute joy, and I'm looking forward to hearing kind of your thoughts now that we're in the afterglow, if you will, of a really solid Standard tournament, which I know is always a good time. It's one of my favorite things is tournaments on Sundays. It just feels good, you know?
Yeah. And it was nice being able to commentate a tournament where we didn't have to experience Monstrous Rage.
Oh my goodness, it was so nice. Well, and the field was bizarre, frankly, in the best way. So it was a Standard best of 3 tournament. This was the Final Fantasy mosh pit, because Jaffer puts on a mosh pit for each new set, and so this was the one following Final Fantasy, and putting out a Standard event like weeks before rotation, but after a big ban announcement is interesting, and I kind of loved it, if I'm honest, because we're in an environment with a huge card pool where it's unsolved, which we don't see those very often in Standard, and we had that here, and so there were, I believe, 30 decks submitted, and there were barely any repeats, frankly. It was kind of wild. Everybody was on something different.
Something different, yeah. And, I think we had, like, a couple different, like, Is It flavors, like, from Is It Cauldron, that's been doing well, and, like, the Standard Magic Online challenges and in leagues. We had... Nithin was there playing today with, I call it Dragon Casino, but it is the Capricious Hellraiser Is It deck that, only they can master, so don't even attempt because you won't play it as good as them, I promise. And it was nice to see a good variety today. We had, Orzhov Demons, we had, or Orzhov Midrange, a variant, we had a mono black deck in there, a couple different flavors of control, and our finals ended up being Dimir Midrange, which you probably could have predicted, versus Selesnya Midrange, featuring Calyx, which is about to rotate from Aftermath, right? And it was a little enchantment variation, and it was nice to see Calyx played. I think Gadian and I are on like the same wavelength in terms of we're gonna play these cards now that we can again until we can't play them anymore. And we got to see Calyx today.
And I know everybody out there is like, wait, Calyx is still legal? Yes, it is. And that was a comment that we saw in the chat. Some people being like, oh man, I forgot about this card completely. It's like, the last time it was meaningfully played was well over a year ago now, but it's still legal, and it shows up alongside cards like Sheltered by Ghosts, all the Duskmourn package. We watched, so that today, during a feature match, we watched Calyx copy an Overlord of the Mistmoors.
We did, an impended Overlord of the Mistmoors. And turned it into a regular one.
It was a thing of beauty. So that was really fun to watch. And it made it to the finals, against Dimir, which was, kind of we knew that deck was going to be good. There was no question. But yeah, this was a delight to watch. Oh my goodness. So Jaffer, what were your big takeaways? Like hosting this thing, you were instrumental, obviously, in making the whole thing happen. What did you notice, or was there anything that caught you by surprise? Start there.
I was surprised to see how many people sign up for the event. Like I was expecting it to be I felt like it was gonna be a much lower number than what it was. We had 27 players, 30 players sign up, but 27 showed up to play. And it was my first paid entry event. Because to be transparent with anybody you're listening, if you played my events before or haven't or if you heard here before about them, or if you just haven't seen me post about it, excuse me, my past events were free, and I was putting the prize money up out of my own pocket. And that kind of gets a little pricey over time. So I made the decision that this is going to be my first paid entry event. And I kind of like in the back of my mind was saying, like, if this doesn't go well, I'm not going to host these anymore. But this went okay. It went fine. So I am going to continue hosting them, but all because of that thought process in my head, I was worried of like it was going to flop because yet last night when I went to bed, there was only like 14 people signed up. And then when I woke up today, it was like 22, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then some more people signed up like all the way up to the last minute. Also, I didn't keep in mind that this was a awkward timing to host this event because we're in a sort of fake format of standard right now. Because we just got a ban, but it's not 30 days, not even 30 days, because we're getting rotation on Arena on the 29th and paper on, was it the 1st?
It should be, I think, equal. I'm curious if they just need to fix the date, like on their announcements and stuff. But when normally in paper Magic, sets are now legal upon pre-release. And so they did that, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something when they made that change. And when it goes live on Arena, which would be before the official release in paper, it shouldn't be a problem. They probably will have standard rotated then. It's just that I think the first date is when the official release is of the set, so then it's available in big box stores, so like Walmart and Target and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
but I thought it like maybe I should have waited, but at the same time I wanted to host an event for a Final Fantasy set. Like if you notice my events, I brand them as Jaffers. I like metal music, pop punk music. I want my events to be branded after something I like. So I try to do one for each set, which now feels like almost every month with how often these sets are coming out.
Well, I mean, it is every other, so yeah.
Yeah. This one was a little late though. Like there's not much time in between this one and the Edge event that's coming up.
Yeah. That's all good. And it's funny because it does. I suppose this is kind of the ultimate lame duck standard, which I know is an expression that we often use for the last kind of month leading up to rotation, given that we saw a massive shakeup a month before rotation. And for those of us who have a large collection on Arena and like to deck build, now is a great time. For tournament grinders who want to get reps in on a deck that they know is going to be something soon, well, it's awkward. It's kind of Dimir mid-range is the name of the game if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
I also want to
time for brewers, but
yeah.
So I want to say that I think the attendance was actually decent for the event given the time period where we are. One, because I think there's a lot of players who want to play new standard, right? A lot of folks I feel like weren't playing a little bit of standard for the last couple weeks before the bans. The regional championships were happening and stuff like that, so folks probably wanted to get in reps for that. The Pro Tour, of course, with the inclusion of Final Fantasy cards, definitely were times where people were like grinding to play what was the very known end solved format at the time, which was basically play Is It or Mono Red or Bust. And so everybody's getting to play all of these different decks again. So I think you saw a bump in your attendance overnight. One, because Magic players are always very, how do you say, last minute choosing whether or not to do things. I know I have chosen last minute to go like play in a tournament sometimes, and it's like, if I wake up on time, I'll get up and get myself ready to go play in this event, right? I mean, that was definitely me 2 weeks ago. I like specifically didn't go play in an RCQ. I was, very tired after a week of work and streaming, and I was like, well, if I wake up on time, I'll go. I didn't wake up on time, and I was like, nope, I enjoy that I decided to sleep in today. So it could be one of those things. And also, being a few weeks out of standard rotating again, because Wizards effectively rotated the format, banning 7 cards. Folks might be wanting to wait until the next one, and I think you will see a big boost in your attendance for the next event, because now we'll have many more cards out of the format and something fresh. And Magic players are always chomping at the bit to try something that's fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the paid entry versus free entry thing, hey, listen, I think keeping the events paid makes Magic players have to commit. I think if you keep anything too free, what happens is you'll get like 60, 70 people that sign up for your event, but then only 30 show up the day of, or 35 show up the day of, because there's no responsibility. They have nothing in the game, right? And
we
yeah.
We've seen that in the past with my events, and a lot with the pizza box events when Hollywood was around doing that. Like I was worried that like players got so used to like all these free events with basically free cash that they don't want to commit to a paid event.
Yeah.
So
and I also,
that was my whole big worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think all of these points are absolutely just on point. Additionally, when we say paid event, the entry fee on it was $6, which for a chance to win, up to $75, I feel like that is more than reasonable. I wouldn't think like you wouldn't roll up to a local game store with the expectation of being able to play for free. And that has become kind of the standard for a lot of these events, which has been fantastic. But if you're going to have prize support, the money's got to come from somewhere. And I feel like this is a very reasonable kind of business model, because the other model is to just fork over a whole bunch of money that you get working somewhere else, and like, yeah, that's just a recipe for burnout. And just huge thank you to all the heroes who've been doing that for so long. But at the end of the day, it's just not sustainable. It's not.
Yeah.
And so this is a move that can make these sustainable. And if people really do want to make sure these continue, sign up for them. Throw in $6 and come out, and let's keep them going. I think that's absolutely reasonable and very cool.
To be transparent with any of you, if you didn't play the event or anything, in the back of my mind, I was thinking of like, if I actually didn't say this at all until now, but like in the back of my mind, I was thinking like, if it flops, like to me, it was gonna flop. It was gonna stay at like 14 players, and it wasn't gonna go any higher. It was gonna be like that. I was gonna be done and no more events.
Sure.
Because like, what's the why put the effort into it if nobody's gonna show up for it? Because then I'm putting such a big time commitment on these kind of things and nothing happens. But for the prize support stuff, for this event, I might restructure it for the next one. Or maybe after the next one. It depends how things go. But for this event that we just got done with, the entry was $6. $5 was to go directly into the prize pool that you paid, and then the $1 was the melee fee, which melee.gg requires you to have a fee. They need to make money somehow. And so the way I broke that down for prize support was with less than 50 players, first place got 50% of that. Second place got 30%. Third to fourth got 10%. If we did reach 50 players, first place would have got 40%. Second place would have got 20%. Third through fourth would have got 10%. Fifth through eighth got 5%. So in a way, if you're really good at Magic and you think about it, and you expected like top 4 or top 8, that kind of would essentially be free money to you. But it's a time commitment too. So
absolutely,
like this way, the prize support came directly from the players. So which I was happy to do that. But I thought it went really well, much better than what I thought it was. What it was going to do. I would have liked to see us hit like maybe 35 players, but oh well.
Sure. And I'm confident the next one is going to be even bigger, because it also looked like, the viewership on Twitch was excellent. People were definitely engaged and plugged in. It was really exciting to see. So, yeah, I have no doubt that it's only going to be better from here. And this was a blast, I got to say. Yeah, it was also interesting to see kind of the last hurrahs for certain things. So we saw Calyx, for example, make it to the finals. That card has been a powerhouse this whole time. We have an awesome enchantment package. I'm glad to see it step up and put in some wins. That was really cool. Ossification was in that deck too. Do you guys remember that? That was it's a wild card.
Totally forgot that card existed.
Yeah, like what you guys said in the no, what Astral and Airball said in the stream. They were saying like we thought this card rotated, but no, like everybody forgot about it.
Yeah,
because I thought it was a common Gawanian Dynasty card, to be honest.
Yeah,
right?
Same.
Yeah, well,
Turns
absolutely.
out Phyrexia Obi-Wan.
It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah, ossification was interesting, and it's funny because Sheltered by Ghosts kind of knocked it out of relevance, but in reality, this deck was just running both, and it worked pretty well.
The
which is pretty
challenge
cool.
with this card is that you have to play a lot of basics that warrant it.
Yes.
So it doesn't work with the decks that were playing like elaborate mana bases, fast lands and surveil lands and verge lands and creature lands. So you like there's probably something correct there with the math in terms of the amount of basics that you have to play in order to make this card worth it and not a dead draw half of the time. I think Gadian's deck was able to do that. He had a fair amount of basic plains and forests in the deck to be able to search that out. And I think, if I remember correctly, that Gadian was playing... Was he playing Fabled Passage? No Fabled Passage. Actual 7 plains and 3 basic forests in the deck. So... and I think the reason that is because you got to make sure with that Selesnya deck, you have to be able to cast on curve 1, 2, 3. Fabled Passage doesn't do a good job of that. Fabled Passage is only ever good on turn 1 or 4 and after, and nothing else. So it was interesting to see this card back here. But it definitely synergizes well with Calyx. That's for sure, making copies of it, yeah.
Oh yeah, these O-Rings and Calyx, we've seen them... Yeah, we've seen that setup do very good work. Another one that I was really delighted to see, and it was funny watching the chat just all kind of have the same, like, weird, borderline traumatic flashback when Boros Convoke was featured. Because the 1-drop, like, Novice Inspector into Gleeful Demolition, into Night Air and Aveos, into Immodane's Recruiter, like, that sequence is just insane, and it has always been insane. It's just it hasn't been the most insane thing you can do in Red until now, again. And so we did have Boros Convoke in this tournament as well, and seeing that kind of come back was really interesting. And it's funny because, at the end of the day, it didn't make it into the top 4. However, we did watch it pop off and do the thing a number of times. It still it did fairly well. So it was kind of a last hurrah for that Boros Convoke deck that I think all of us were sleeping on. And it still looked pretty good, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Well, and another deck that made it into the top 4 that I would definitely be remiss if I didn't mention, Go Calper was on mono green. Because if you have watched these tournaments, you know Go Calper, and you know that they play mono green. And this actually did make it into the top 4. It looked really stinking good. I was impressed by the mono green list. It's funny. I feel like
Calper has been playing a lot of that, and so if I had to trust anybody with a mono green deck, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this card? I'm probably asking him.
Yeah, 100%.
For the amount of different like variations of this deck that there has been over the last couple months, even before the bans. Mono green theoretically on paper gets better when there's no Monstrous Rage in the format because that means you can block with your creatures again, or be more aggressive in attacks, right? Yeah, and so that's the thing. You have to be able to try to defeat all the removal spells that Dimir has. Thankfully, Paul Patrick Root does do a good job of that. So that was nice to see. You also had Spinner of Souls in this deck, which essentially replaces your creatures when they are removed via, destroy spells. And this is from Foundations. And then they were also playing Surrak Elusive Hunter from Tarkir Dragonstorm, which is a 4/3 trampoline powerhouse just by itself, but also allows you to draw cards when your opponent targets them with a ability or a spell. And so, this was pretty sweet to see. Calper was taking advantage of both Lumbering Worldwagon and Herd Migration. I'm sorry, Herd Heirloom in this deck. Sweet 22 lander. The highest cost card in this deck was 4 mana Axebane Feryx, I think. And that card, that is in Karlov Manor. So that card is still going to remain in Standard for some time. And, we were talking about spoilers or previews from Edge of Eternities, and I'm certainly positive that we will talk about the 2-mana green creature that certainly is going to make waves in this deck, Frenzied Baloth.
That segue, that segue is so perfect. I had it teed up and you beat me to it. Well done. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, this card's a 3/2 for green. It can't be countered. It has trample and haste. And it says your other creature spells you control can't be countered, and combat damage can't be prevented. So this is a powerhouse of a card. People are calling this like Questing Beast Mini or something.
Beast.
It's definitely not Mini Questing Beast, right? Matt, Questing Beast also happens to deal damage to Planeswalkers and not care if, Yeah. I think this card is very good, though. And it's definitely worth the green, double pip.
Being a monogreen player at heart, I am very happy to see this card. And like, if any of you have like seen my content from like 2-3 years ago, it was nothing but monogreen in Standard. And I would love for that to happen again, but I feel like with how sets have been designed and stuff, I feel like that's gonna be a bit difficult now for monogreen to be tier 1 again. But I can picture there being a Golgari Stompy deck. Because you got Llanowar Elves, you got Mosso Dread Knight, you got Frenzy Baloth now, once the set comes out. You have the Raccoon, Keen-Eye Curator.
Yeah, Curator's legit.
You could go with like Spinner of Souls, Surak, whatever else as well, like just black for kill spells. You could play Glissa. So there could be something there.
You won't be able to. Glissa's rotating.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Glissa's rotating. You're right.
It's all good.
Right. Yeah. But still, just hand hate, like Duress, Deep Cavern Bat, and just removal is just much better than fight spells.
Well, and Preacher of the Schism isn't going anywhere. So if you need a good, card draw engine at the 3-drop slot, that's an option. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I want mono green to be a thing. And it's funny too, because you look at a card like this, and if this card came out even 5 years ago, people would just be like, what? Wizards has lost their mind. This card is so overpowered. Oh my goodness. But nowadays, it's a 2-drop that dies to removal that doesn't provide any kind of card advantage. And so, it's doing all the things, but it doesn't say draw a card or make a token on it anywhere. And so, as a result, like, the use case is still, like, relatively narrow, unfortunately. And, like, the amount of value that you get out of this compared to most other 2-drops is, like, shockingly not as crazy as it reads. I still think the card is good, but it has to be pushed to the moon in order to be good as just an aggressive 2-drop threat. So I like it. I like it a lot, but...
There is a chance that we might get like a cut down replacement also, which will make this card just terrible. Also, like there's so many decent 1-drops and 2-drops that were like push out the format because of how good our 1-mana removal is.
Yeah, and even post rotation, we will have Stab.
Yep.
Which is just like -2/-2 instant speed for 1 black, similar to this figure.
It's just the new disfigure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Stab was in Foundations, right?
Yes. So it'll be around
be here for a while.
4 more years now.
That's right.
At least.
At least.
Yes.
Which is my favorite term that they've used.
Yep.
Like, not sure if we want to do this, but at least this amount of time. But yeah, Stab is going to be here. They did preview a sorcery that was 1 black, and it's not great at all.
No. If it was instant speed, that'd be busted.
Yes. Yeah, we're talking about
like Tragic Slip 2.0.
Geez, what is the name of it? I know it's 1 black mana, and it's like the creature gets -2/-2.
It's basically Tragic Slip. Yeah, it's basically Tragic Slip, but sorcery speed.
Yeah.
And therefore
Tragic Slip too strong for Standard, I suppose.
Well, and so okay, actually that gives us a great segue to talk about one of the mechanics in this set that I think is really important to call out, especially for, pioneer and modern players out there who are familiar with Revolt on things like Fatal Push. So,
Mm-hmm.
Tragic Trajectory has an ability called Void. That the Void works, or you turn Void on when a non-land permanent leaves the battlefield under your control, or you cast a warp, a creature's warped. So warp is a new mechanic. It's kind of it's almost like dash that doesn't give haste in a weird way. There's more to it than that, but at the end of the day, you cast a creature for a much lower cost. It usually has some ETB or leaves the battlefield trigger. You exile it at the end of your turn, and then you can recast it for its full price later in kind of an adventure zone. And so if you cast a warp creature out, you will Void is online. So if you're working within the set, that's a thing. But otherwise, you have to have a non-land permanent leave, which is similar to Revolt. So if you use a treasure token to pay for Tragic Trajectory, that creature gets -10, -10 instead of -2, -2. Sweet, you did the thing. Hooray. However, if you crack a Fabled Passage to go get a swamp to use it, well, your Fatal Push is now online because of Revolt. Your Tragic Trajectory is not, because Void cares about land versus non-land. That's a huge distinction that I think is going to trip a lot of people up, so be careful about that.
Yep.
What if they give us like a new Fable Passage that is Fable Passage, but it has like when you sacrifice, you exile it when you tap it to go get a basic.
That could be interesting, potentially.
Yeah,
because I don't think it'll happen, but all the previews aren't done yet. But I don't think it would be I think it'd be too powerful, probably, with all the new Void mechanic for all those cards out there.
Yeah, land that could somehow turn Void on would be pretty intense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe all the warp. I believe all the warp cards that they've shown have been creatures. I don't recall if they've made it clear that everything with warp is a creature or not, but I could be mistaken on that.
Yeah, and a lot of them have like some ability that matters from warping. One of them that is also a black card that cares about warp. That's a pretty cool uncommon. It's called Timeline Color. It is double black. It is a Drix Warlock, and Drix is a new creature type from Edge of Eternity. It is a 2/2 with haste. And it says you may cast this card from your graveyard using its warp ability. So its warp ability is 1 black and 2 life. And the reason that matters is because I don't think any of your other warp cards have haste, at least that they've previewed so far. Because warp is the card goes away at the end step. And then you may cast it from exile on a later turn. So if Timeline Color is in your graveyard, you can pay a black 2 life, reanimate this 2/2. It can attack. It goes away, and then you can recast it later from exile for 2 black.
I mean, Tenacious Underdog, is that you? Like, I'm here for it. That actually looks really good. Yeah. So if you end up discarding this for some other effect, being able to warp it out later, that's great. It's the black recursive thing from the graveyard. I love it. There's also one other
card for Inti.
There you go.
FOMO decks.
Oh heck yeah! No, the Delirium decks.
Bitter Triumph.
Oh yeah,
100%.
All of that, absolutely. Let's go. There is one other warp creature that has haste. It's I believe it's Nova Dragon.
Oh, is that the mythic?
Yeah, there is a dragon with warp. Nova Hellkite is what it is. It's a 4/5 for 5. Oh no, it is only a rare with flying and haste. When it enters, it deals 1 damage to target creature an opponent controls, and it warps in for 3. So 4/5 flying haste and a ping for 5 isn't really worth writing home about, unless you're playing limited, in which case go off.
Well, I mean, since it does have haste, so you're telling me I can pay 3 mana for this 4/5 flying haste, so I can attack you in the air for 4, plus the 1 extra damage, and then 2 turns later I get to do it again for regular mana cost.
Yeah.
So it's basically, while this card's in exile, you have an additional card in your hand that you were playing later. It's kind of, so if you're used to playing plot from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, what would happen is you'd pay the mana in advance for the plot cost. It'd go into exile, and then you get to cast it for free. So they essentially acted as extra cards in that zone. But this is just straight up aggressive 4/5 flying haste for 3 mana.
That's
like,
awesome.
Think about it. Like, Screaming Nemesis is probably the best red creature that you can cast with haste for 3 mana, and that thing only deals 3. And it doesn't have evasion. It just has the ability to make you maybe not gain life for the rest of the game. But this is actually a really good card.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm glad to agree. I think the warp makes it work. The 4-power hasty 5-drop dragon actually like slaps. I
like,
love
listen,
it.
If I play Llanowar Elves on turn 1, I can play this on turn 2 and attack you for 4 in the air.
And if you're on the play, then and when I played my Llanowar Elves, it now dies to this because you're attacking into it, and that hurts a lot.
That'd be awesome,
right? Yeah.
Imagine how good this would be if it said 1 damage to any target or any target creature or a target creature. So then, like, turn 3 I play Screaming Nemesis. Turn 4 I'm gonna warp this in and deal 1 point damage to my Nemesis on attack.
That'd be insane. I'm sure that's why they templated it the way they did, because that'd be nuts.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it's very cool. I dig this thing. 5-drop dragons. They're back, baby. Speaking of things that are coming back, there is a reprint in this set that is really unassuming. It's probably not going to be a huge deal, but I think it's going to be in most sideboards if you're in this color. Annul is in this set. And Annul is an absolute classic counterspell from way back. I want to say it was from like original
Mirrodin.
Original Mirrodin. This is this is old school. And the last time we saw it was in Kaldheim. And back in Kaldheim, which this was the image of the blue mage throwing up the horns and therefore deflecting the hammer of Thor, which is pretty dope if you ask me. But this card, counter target artifact or enchantment spell for 1. Back when this was around before, it saw like some sideboard play, but it didn't really take over. It wasn't really a big deal. But nowadays,
sometimes sees main board play in Pioneer is a Phoenix. That's like a 1 or 2 of.
I believe it. Yeah, I absolutely believe it.
With all the sagas we've been getting, like all the like summons and like the vehicles we've been getting, like this is gonna be probably a 1 to 2 of in sideboards, I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
Like I would in like testing like for with the new set, I would probably put that in the sideboard of blue-black of Dimir.
Oh, absolutely. And depending on how the meta shakes out,
synthesizer decks.
Yeah, depending on how the meta shakes out, this could be like a 1 in the main with 2 more in the board or something like that. Like I don't hate that idea.
Depends how shake. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about against the mono white deck, right? Like they tap out on turn 4 for an Overlord of the Mistborn. It's like, I'm gonna pay 1. Nope. Like that's that seems good to me. All the Overlords
start playing Cavern of Souls.
Well, but they'd have to.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think for 1 mana, I think this is positioned to be like shockingly powerful. So don't sleep on this thing. And if you're in blue, seriously consider putting it in. And as a nice little bonus, it is an uncommon. You probably already have it on Arena because we've had it before. If you've been playing for a while.
If you're a Boomer Magic player like me in paper, then you probably have your OG Mirrodin copies that you could play. And
or if you've been playing since before COVID, you probably have your copies from Kaldheim.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, wait a minute. This was actually... I'm looking on Scryfall right now. So the Mirrodin copies, which Carlo mentioned, are beautiful. Apparently, this was a reprint.
Oh, oops. I'm not that boomer.
I didn't realize. Apparently, Urza's Saga was the very first printing of Annul.
Oh.
I had no idea. Even I remember.
I can check Boomer off my list then. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're more Magic Gen X, I think. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
That's
no, we're Arena players. We're Magic Zoomers.
No. You see, I had to teach somebody about Jaffer, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time.
So I love being an old school Magic Arena player because it's like, oh no, this one has an animation. Sit down, kid. Let me show you this. Yeah, it's great. If you haven't had Rankle do the little thing at you, I don't know what to tell you. Like we're on different wavelengths here.
Or Uro's like whole head taking up the whole entire board.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do miss animations, but I get it of like why they don't do it anymore.
They brought some back with Final Fantasy. Thunder Magic or whatever, when you cast it, depending upon what tier you cast it, makes a different noise. So the more damage you do deals, it makes a bigger elongated noise. It's so funny.
Final Fantasy has a ton of audio cues on it. So a lot of the cards, they actually do trigger sound effects from the Final Fantasy games. Like Restoration Magic has one. Like Kefka, he laughs when you throw him down.
Kefka has the OG laugh.
Oh yeah, yes, the original laugh from Final Fantasy VI. It's great. During the early access event, the first time I played Kefka and that happened, I just freaked out. It was awesome. Yeah, big fan. I literally have a Kefka Commander deck in front of me right now as we're talking. That's how much I love this guy.
You anyway, would though. I mean,
I would. Yes,
be real. Yeah,
Kefka is Nicobolas 2.0. I still refuse to play that.
No. We can't. Do not dare diss Bolas like this. They might both be villains, quote unquote. However, thou shalt not touch the God Pharaoh, and that's in fact.
I would rather play Kefka than Bolas.
Oh, let us know in the comments. Who is the bigger villain or better character, Bolas or Kefka? Please.
I'm not biased or anything.
Is it Bolas or Kefka?
Yeah. Ooh, we need to do some kind of poll now. I'm very curious. All right. Interesting.
So, after we're done talking about the new set of like the new cards, I want to talk about another thing that leading into that.
Okay.
So let me know when you're done talking.
I mean, now's as good a time as any, man. We can jump back into the new cards. So what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can bounce around.
What do you think is going to stay as a deck with the new set coming out? Like, I think Dimir midrange is still going to survive because what we're losing is mostly mana, the mana base. Sheldred, yeah, sure, whatever, but who's playing Sheldred now still in Dimir? Like, it's like a one of in some sideboards.
Yeah.
Fairy Mastermind you lose, but that's whatever. You could just play something else.
Yeah,
Kaido,
I think that...
just 1-drop into a 2-drop into attacking and getting Kaido is just still gonna be very strong.
Yeah, and Spyglass Siren's not going anywhere. They just got Cecil, so he's going to be a player. I think you're right. I think the Dimir midrange deck is going to change a bit post rotation. The losing Darkslick Shores is huge. But they're getting Watery Grave, if I'm not mistaken, so that kind of that's kind of a wash. Yeah. And the removal package. The removal package is going to have to change quite a bit. And I don't necessarily think the downgrades are bad enough to knock it out of contention, but Go for the Throat and Cut Down leaving, I think, are going to be significant.
I agree. I agree that it's gonna be significant, but I think like whatever we get is gonna be okay to replace. Like for me, at least for like trying things out, like I'm going to play Stab in place of Cut Down, probably as like a 2 of. I'm gonna play Shoot the Sheriff and Sheldred's Edict. I don't think you want to play Bitter Triumph in blue-black mid-range. And then like Blot Out rotates too. Yeah, Blot Out rotates, so you don't get to play that.
Edict is
and so does Sheldred Edict. As well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Edict is piecing out. Yep.
Well, maybe we'll get some other 2-mana removal in the set. That's okay. Possible. I haven't seen anything yet. But I can see like Strategic Betrayal, maybe as like a 1 of.
Strategic Betrayal
depends how big like Graveyard decks are.
Yes.
Well, and right now,
Betrayal is awesome.
Yeah, right now Graveyard decks seem to be the name of the game, and Yuna actually can get bodied pretty hard by Strategic Betrayal. So if it lines up,
Yuna's not going anywhere either.
Oh no, the entire Yuna deck is staying put, like 100%.
It probably gets better with the mana base because you just play a mixture of Shocks instead of Surveils, and then just Verges.
Yeah. So I think Dimir, I think you're right. Dimir will have to evolve, but it will. They'll be fine. Yeah, I think the Yuna decks aren't going anywhere, and I fully suspect all the different VV piles, people are going to find the perfect VV build. Like, it exists. That card is too good.
What cantrips do we lose from there? Because it's what spells do we lose from VV?
I think you lose Opt because Opt's in Dominaria United or something. Hold on.
It's not in Foundations?
I thought it was in Foundations,
Opt
but I could be wrong.
Is it?
I thought they
Not
they put
a
like
ton
all
of
the
Visit, you know?
quote unquote evergreen cards into Foundations, because like every few sets no matter what in rotation is going on, there was always Duress, Negate, Opt, Giant Growth.
Yeah, it is in
Disenchant.
Foundations. So yeah,
Okay,
Opt isn't going anywhere,
so
and Sleight of Hand is Wilds, so that isn't rotating this go around.
Okay,
right.
Yep.
You are losing Thrill Seeker, so you won't be able to do that kind of win con.
Yeah,
right.
Thrill Seeker out is a thing.
You can play the Vivi deck that plays Astrologian's Planisphere.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to say is the replacement for Corey Steelcutter, but the card's pretty damn good, right? This is from Final Fantasy, 1 in a blue with Job Select, so auto makes you 1/1. And then it says the equipped creature is a wizard in addition to the other types, and when you cast a non-creature spell, the creature gets a counter, or you draw your third card for the turn. Vivi already lets you spiral into whatever you want because you can't respond to Vivi's ability because it's a mana ability. Yay for not putting that safeguard. You know, and so, you know, if you are able to get Vivi going with this, your ops turn into your creatures growing permanently. It's better than prowess because prowess is only till the end step. This permanently puts the +1/+1 counters on the creatures. And by God, if you happen to throw this on a VV and give Vivi 2 +1/+1 counters for each non-creature spell you play, it's game over.
Yeah.
It just keeps spiraling into stock ups, which find you more spells to cast more spells to deal more damage to your opponent.
Yep.
Forget about Vivi needing to attack. Doesn't need that, surely.
Well, and there's also a card in Edge of Eternities that could make a plan like that work even better. So if you're like so many gamers out there who are like, okay, stock up is great and all, but it's a sorcery. May I introduce you to Consult the Star Charts? I gotta say, Wizards absolutely nailed it by letting Covert Go Blue preview this one. It's like the most CGB card I think I've ever witnessed in my life. It's an instant for 1 in a blue with kicker, 1 in a blue. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put one of those cards into your hand. If it was kicked, you put 2 of those cards into your hand instead. Then put the rest on the bottom in a random order.
So for 4 mana, I get to look at for 4 mana. If I have 4 lands, I get to look at 4 cards at instant speed and put 2 in my hand.
This just screams like Memory Deluge 2.0,
100%,
or like 1.5 to me, and it doesn't sound bad. I would rather Memory Deluge, but this doesn't sound bad at all.
Yeah, Memory Deluge's flashback was notable, and it's funny, we're talking about the Vivi deck where you're trying to get a lot of mana through Vivi's ability. So this might actually not be amazing in that. It's maybe just an impulse in that case, which is still fine. This is going to be exceptional in those control decks that are trying to, you know, grind the game out late. Being able to instant speed, 4-drop, get 2 cards after looking at the top 7 or 8 cards of your deck. I mean, that is a deep dig at instant speed, and you get 2 out of the deal. Like, in those scenarios, that thing's going to be nuts.
Playing this in the VV deck alongside Stock Up lets you continue to spin the wheel.
You just never run out of gas, yeah.
Because now you have 8 of those types of effects in your deck as opposed to just 4. Yep. So it just let your wheel keep turning, baby.
Yeah, whatever you need, whenever you need it, you're going to find it. Yeah.
And if you play Talent, then you just basically have like 8 copies then.
Yeah.
Oh, Artisan's Talent?
Sure.
No,
Storm Chasers. Yeah.
Storm Chasers Talent, gotcha.
Right, because when This Town Ain't Big Enough got banned, everybody forgot Storm Chasers Talent existed, but fun fact, it's still great. Like, this card still rules. So, yeah, no, Jaffer, good shout.
So for another deck that should survive, I think, with rotation, Golgari midrange. You do lose a significant amount of things, I think, but it's still going to be there in some capacity because, like, Duress isn't going anywhere. Deep Cover Bat isn't. Got Maso Dread Knight. You still got some 2-mana removal. You got Terror Sunder. Nope, you don't have Terror Sunder. Maelstrom Pulse.
Yep.
Oh man, Pulse.
Like, you probably, if you go, no matter what color variation you go for demons, you probably just I don't think there's anything better than Desecration Demon, is there? After rotation?
In terms of 4-mana demon, no. Just Desecration Demon. That card was in Foundations.
Okay. Like, you might go that, but like it's really not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 4-drop
compared to
slot
what was years ago, like when it was first around, it's not great.
Yeah. Honestly, right now, so that's actually an interesting point. The demon package that people have been playing with the Unholy Annex, Archfiend of the Dross leaving is a huge hit. You know, I don't think Desecration Demon just slots into that same spot and gives you the same kind of power. You know, and I know that the Golgari mid-range decks aren't necessarily the same as the Demon deck, but I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, like, okay, can we put these together? And I know some people have. I've definitely seen that out there. Another card actually that a lot of the Golgari decks have been using that I think they're completely correct is Lumbering Worldwagon. I've seen a number of lists with that in it. I think that card is like low-key nuts. It's very strong. And people are coming around to that. It makes me very happy. But yeah, I think Golgari is going to survive. Honestly, the Golgari package, the core of that deck is just so strong that losing a couple pieces isn't really going to undo that philosophy. And I mean, toothpaste is out of the tube, man. People are playing it, and I think the pieces are all still there, and they're printing other stuff in. I mean, Assassin's Trophy was in Murders of Karlov Matter.
Yes.
And like,
the card's terrible.
Isn't it so funny? Like, isn't it hilarious though? But like, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I just it's find it funny.
I mean, if there's mana bases that are like on 0 basics and it's like what everybody's playing, sure, the card's great then. If everybody's playing basics though, like more than one basic, then it's terrible.
Fair.
Yeah, I think it's worth saying. I think there's a few different Golgari builds that you could try in New Standard when it rotates. I think there's a clear like +1/+1 counter deck, and I think there's going to be a lot of folks that are like brewing. Like we've talked about before here, Bristly Bill. I love Bristly Bill. That card isn't seeing a whole lot of play in current Standard, but it's very powerful. You know, you can play this card. Some folks have been trying green-based strategies with this, and like Mossborn Hydra from Foundations because it has landfall, and like the 1-mana Chocobo. You know, we tried the other night a Golgari +1/+1 counter deck that was rotation proof. Samson, who comes into my stream, wanted this as a challenge. Like, can we build something that is rotato proof? And we did it, and it was a deck that was based around the +1/+1 counters. We got to play cards like Innkeeper's Talent, which I feel folks have like almost forgotten about this card. I don't think you could play it in the red base aggressive metagame that we were in, but this card is a house, man. This card used to be $20 before the red decks like took over price wise and paper magic. And it's very strong. I mean, being able to play this alongside of Tifa from Final Fantasy seems kind of good. We were trying something where we played Bristly Bill, Mossborn Hydra. We didn't play Tifa. We played Demon Wall because we wanted to keep the Unholy Annex package. And fun fact, if you Innkeeper's Talent on top of the Demon Wall, which is a 3/3, pretty much blocks everything, you turn it into a 4/4 menace on that next turn without having to use its ability. And Bristly Bill also puts counters on this with the landfall trigger. So it allowed us to be able to play Unholy Annex and still curve into it. Like play Unholy Annex on 3, leave this guy back. Maybe play Innkeeper's Talent plus hold up a 2-drop removal on turn 4. And then turn 5, release the big 6/6 demon on the Unholy Annex. And it was doing pretty decent against current Standard decks.
Nice.
So mind you, we weren't playing Cut Down, we weren't playing Go for the Throat, we were playing like Stab, Shoot the Sheriff, and one other removal spell.
Bitter?
No, we weren't playing Bitter Triumph because there's no benefit on like discard card.
Strategic?
Yes, maybe we were playing Strategic Betrayal.
Yeah. Corey TC from my chat has been he's like convinced that the overkill kill spell will be good in the new format.
Could be.
Maybe, but like 3 mana is a lot. But if there's any indestructible creatures, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Overkill's an interesting one. I mean, we already have Hero's Downfall, and that's. I mean, 2 black is a thing, but yeah, I think if I agree, if Indestructible is a thing, this is nice. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like there could be some kind of Golgari low to the ground demons deck. Like that could be a thing where your highest cost spell is just only Annex. But what I would like to see is like Snores be played again.
Oh yeah.
But like I was trying that the other day on stream. It was not a rotation proof deck, but it was still fun to do that. Like all your creatures minus Elf and Caustic Bronco were able to crew the Bronco, and like you had Mosswood, you had the Raccoon, the 2-mana Raccoon, and Serac, and some other 3-drops that just paired well with it, and it was fun. Like I got the Dome people for 5 a couple times because I had like Vivian in the package, and I had the this Disruptive Storm Brood.
Oh yeah.
Omen Golgari Omen Dragon. So I would like to see something like that be playable too. Speaking of omens, that dragon is really awesome. I like that dragon a lot. Like
just is fantastic.
Like it is a sorcery removal spell, but that's fine. This I don't think you're ever playing a full play set of. It's like a 1 to 2 of, if anything. And then like the ETB on the creature for 5 mana, it sucks that it's a 3/3, but the ETB is pretty solid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you just slot this into your 2-drop removal slot if you really want it, right? If you can cast it for the full mana value later, great. But if you're just looking for an extra 2 mana removal spell, it's something that you could do. But you know, what's that card we talked about last time? Fell. That is in Bloomburrow, right? No, it's bad because it's 2 mana to destroy a creature for 2. But I think that Fell is like, if you compare it to Petty Revenge, Fell is just the better removal spell. But the fact that you shuffle this back into your deck is a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
You don't remember Fell at all? No, you're right. It's not very memorable.
What the Omen was called. Petty Omen was called for a second. I just knew what the Omen did on that dragon, and then as he said it, I was like, I don't. And then I was just reading the card on the screen, like, oh yeah. I just know it destroyed a creature power 3, CMC 3 or less.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, speaking of Golgari cards, Ham enjoys Insidious Roots decks, right? And so we talked about last time whether or not Insidious Roots can continue to be a deck because it loses Tyvar. Tyvar is a major engine of the Insidious deck, being able to pop off by constantly making new creatures that can then be tapped for mana. There's no other effect in Golgari that does that.
No.
So I think what ends up happening is the Roots deck exists, but it melds into something else. And they did preview a card from Edge of Eternities. It is called Seed Ship Brood Tender. It also costs a black and a green, and it is a 2/3. When this creature enters, mill 3 cards. And then it has an ability on it that says you can pay 3 a black and a green, sacrifice this creature, return target creature or spacecraft from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. So, 1, this mills you, so it helps to hopefully start an engine for your Insidious Roots. On 5 mana, it doesn't require you to tap it, so you can always just sack it for 5, and your plants are making mana that Insidious Roots makes you. So it might be a little bit slower, but this animating Overlord of the Baelmark seems completely fine, and then triggers your Insidious Roots again. Maybe this enables you to play larger creatures in your deck alongside of the Overlord. So maybe you wanted to create a different type of Golgari reanimation deck with Arden from Final Fantasy, and I get to reanimate Arden on 5 off of that then lets me animate another creature and turn it into a demon. So maybe we see a slower version of a Roots deck pop up somewhere, and this card is a decent part of it.
I'm here for it. I mean, I think in most cases, I think I'd prefer Valgavoth's Faithful because it's doing something very similar. However, the mill 3 on ETB, I mean, this being a mill dork that is overstated. I mean, 2/3 for 2. It's got a relevant body to help kind of shore things up, and it helps fill the graveyard. Yeah, no, dude, this design actually kind of rules. I really like this card. And yeah, in Roots, I'm thinking like a 3/3 split with this and Val's Faithful with 4 Overlord of the Banemark. You're doing the thing, baby. That feels pretty darn good. And more cards like this means that Roots doesn't, even if you have a couple of really big powerhouses in the Roots deck, you still can have more creatures and you don't need to run things like Zombify because you have these.
Right.
And that's awesome. I love that because you need a critical mass of creatures if Roots is going to do its thing. So yeah, I'm here for it. Let's go. Yeah, I think a value mid-range Roots is going to be the way to go. And I've done that a couple of times, and Tyvar is still so important for like the explosive potential that you really need. And so I think it's going to be, it's going to have to be a lot more plotting and a lot slower. But at the end of the day, I actually think a slower value-based graveyard shell is actually not a bad idea because Insidious Roots cares about creatures leaving the graveyard. And right now, the premier sideboard graveyard hate that people bring in is Ghost Vacuum, which like, if I'm playing Insidious Roots and somebody plays a Ghost Vacuum across the table, it's like, okay, I have a little bit less control over how this plays, but I'm still going to do the whole thing. Like, we're going to be fine. Yeah, it's still pretty nice. So that does not line up the way people want it to. So yeah, I like the idea of that deck being a thing. I hope so. What other decks do we think are gonna survive? The mention of the +1/+1 counters. Oh, sorry.
Do we think mono red aggro is going to survive at all?
Ooh,
you have, if you look at the burn spells, you got Bolt Wave, you got Burst Lightning, you still got Shock.
There is a new burn spell that's in this set. It's common. I think it's called Plasma Bolt.
It's another bolt if you warp, right, or have
right.
Void, right?
It's a 2 damage to any target for 1 red, or bolt for void or something.
I don't think it'd be worth it if you're in mono red, especially with it being sorcerer speed. I mean, cool for Popper if they're able to do that, maybe.
Oh, sure,
but still probably not. But like, if you look at the creature base, too, like, you got a decent amount of burn spells. If you go into Boros, you got Boros Charm, Lightning Helix. But if you look at the creature base, you still have Hired Claw. You got whatever the 2 mana mouse is, 2 mana 2/2.
Manifold Mouse.
Manifold Mouse.
Emberheart Challenger.
Or Emberheart, yeah.
Emberheart Challenger.
The one that works without other mice. Yes.
Screaming Nemesis. You got Slickshot Show Off.
Yep.
So like, and then you still have the Lynx, which will probably still be like a sideboard card because everybody's gonna be playing Shocks and Verges, and some half of the decks are gonna play fast lands that are still legal. Actually, so maybe some variation of mono red might still survive.
You know, I find it funny that we have a deck called Death and Taxes because of the certainty with which people will play, White Weenie. I feel like when it comes to standard, mono red is that. There will always be a mono red deck. It's just a question, is it good? Especially in best of one. People will be playing it. They'll always go for it. These bans really knocked the red package down a peg. And I've been, in my experience on the ladder, it feels like people aren't even willing to try it right now. Which makes sense because the handful of times, the literally like 2 or 3 times I've run into it since the bans, I've absolutely smoked it. It's not particularly hard, and I'm not doing anything particularly great. Like, it's true, like that deck clearly just got it just eradicated. I think somebody's gonna hold it down. The red deck that I want to see be a thing that I think might have a chance. Well, I like Big Red, I do, but I don't think that'll be I think Big Red is going to be janky forever. It just is what it is. But Goblins. I want to see Goblins step up because Foundations had Krenko in it.
It did. Unfortunately, as the resident Goblin enjoyer over here, we lose the Horde Master on 2 mana from Dominaria United, which is huge because that would let you spin into other goblins. You do have other lords, though. You have the Dropkick Bomber from Foundations, and you have
The Howl
You
Squad
know, you
heavy,
could play
right?
cards like War Leader's Call. House Squad Heavy is what gives Krenko the haste
Oh, it gives
to
him
keep
haste. Right,
popping
right,
off, which you can. And you have good cards like Seer Slicer Goblin and Frontline Rush if you're going the Boros route. Goblins is great and all. I love it. I would love to be able to continue to play that, especially because you could continue to play Gruul with Draconautics Engineer and Afterburner Expert, and that lets you play Agatha's Soul Cauldron that turns all of those goblins also into Krenkos, or Dragon, or the Draconautics Engineer, to let you continue to make dragons and give your team haste. Like all of that is possible, and it's very sweet to play.
Mm-hmm.
I think the red base deck that is the best post rotation is Lizards. Most of your Lizards are from Bloomburrow, and that deck was quite powerful before the Mouse deck really took over in the format. Hired Claw being, you know, your primary one drop that you're playing. But yeah, Gev is fantastic, doing incremental damage for you. Valley. No, I'm thinking the Otter. What the heck is the 3-drop lizard from Bloomburrow? It's like whenever a lizard you control
The
attacks,
Thoughtseize?
deals the damage.
Oh.
No, but
Oh,
they also
yeah.
have that Thoughtseize card, the Warlock. None
Which
of
with Gav,
those
it's
cards,
literally Thoughtseize.
a lot of those cards can't be hit by Shoot the Sheriff because they're also mercenary types alongside of them. So Valley Flamecaller,
True.
there you go. Floodcaller is the Otter. Flamecaller is the Lizard. So they also have outlaw subtypes on there as their creature type or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So they
you also
can't
have
be
to
hit.
keep in mind. You have to keep in mind. You're saying you think it'll be the best deck, but you got to keep in mind the mana base is going to be kind of really bad.
It's gonna be a
as
little
well.
sketchy.
So
Yep.
you're gonna be forced to be probably mostly creatures with a very small removal package because you're probably mostly in red. So you're at the place Secluded Courtyard, probably Mana Confluence, and you do get a Verge and a Surveil land. But you really don't want a Surveil land in this deck.
No, Starting
No.
Town is still here, so that's something. But
Yeah,
yeah.
you do get that too. But like,
If
you
you
don't
want to
have
play
a shock land.
If you want to play the 1-mana black creature though, that offsprings with the landfall, you can play Fabled Passage in your deck, but Fabled Passage is terrible on turns 2 and 3.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, unless you're playing so many 2-drops, now the Gecko from Bloomburrow, it's probably called something else, something Gecko, it adds red-black to your pool. It's basically a free creature. Like, you dealt damage this turn, comes down, adds 2 more mana, and lets you do something else. That deck kind of just like spirals. And then Gev being like there it is, Flame Cash Gecko. Thank you.
Yeah.
2/2 when it enters, add black red, and then you can black red, discard a card, draw a card. So hopefully this like filters you through some stuff. But Lizard was already that kind of deck that if it didn't win in the first 5 turns of the game, you probably were having a bad afterwards. You're getting like Wrathed or something. And I think, you know, that even brings us into talking about the next type of deck archetype that starts to rise, and that's a control deck. Because Jeskai control was already quite popular in Standard, right? Our buddy Flesh Eaten Gnome was doing quite well with some Jeskai control with Shiko from Tarkir Dragonstorm and Rediscover the Way and
he qualified for the Pro Tour.
Yeah. And so, you know, that deck doesn't really go anywhere outside of the mana base, maybe suffering a little hit, but not so much. You get to keep all the Surveils plus the Shocklands, you know, plus the Verges. Your mana base stays really good for Jeskai control. And you already know that we're probably getting a Wrath spell in white because they love to do that every set. As of this recording, one has not been previewed. So we'll have to see the rest of the week if we end up getting our white Wrath spell. But we have a Dimir Wrath spell. Dimir Wrath spell that mills you, which is kind of Monka 2S, if you ask me.
They did show another black one, though, that you have to pay life for, right?
They did, yeah.
No, you don't pay life. You lose life. You pay X in black and then lose life.
Yes. So we did see that. So there means there are multiple Wrath spells in this format, or in this particular set. But one that we saw today when we were watching Jaffer's tournament, our buddy OKI Scoop was playing like a 5-color control deck based around Jeskai Revelation and Mystical Teachings. Which, yeah, I guess the mana base maybe take... Oh, actually, no. We talked about how the deck was rotation proof, right?
Yes.
I think we remember we talked about this. All the lands were good, everything. Everything was rotation proof. Taking advantage of like Songcrafter Mage and flashing back or harmonizing Jeskai Revelation and Teachings being the outlet to go search up whatever you want. And in Scoop's deck, they were playing Final Showdown, which is the wrath spell from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. That's an instant speed wrath spell for 6. And it can do a couple other things, right? You can make their creatures lose all of the abilities, destroy all the creatures, or choose a creature you control against indestructible and end a turn. That mode didn't really matter in that deck at all outside of the 6 mana, but where it did matter, there was one turn he was playing against Enduring Innocences, right? And he used the spree mode to make all creatures lose all abilities, then wrath the board. So the opponent did not get back the Enduring Innocences after the wrath. And that was fantastic. Between this and Ultima ending the turn after wrathing, it was a good time.
Absolutely.
So I think in some flavor, you're just going to get control decks that do well, which is bad for the mid-range creature strategy. So like decks like Lizards will not do well if the control decks start to rise.
Yeah.
I'm hoping like I'm gonna enjoy rotation because it's gonna be like the Wild West for like first couple weeks until we get more and more challenge results in. But also like it's gonna be RCQ season at rotation. Like,
yes.
I believe it happens the week of it starts, I think.
Yes.
Which is awesome. I want to go to an RCQ the weekend of like rotation.
Correct. Release.
Because it'll be a great time. Everybody's probably gonna just jam like they're gonna either net deck something that won the first probably challenge. Yeah. Or they're gonna be some of the brewers there that are like doing the crazy things that nobody knows what's happening, and they're gonna go under the radar because of that. But I hope and I believe with this rotation that we will have a even mix of decks. Like we will have an even mix of like some aggro decks, some mid-range decks, combo sort of. I believe there's going to be a variation of Sultai Omniscience that survives after rotation, and then control.
Yeah.
So like I think that we will have an even mix of decks out there. It'll take people probably a little bit to figure it out because the majority of people are lazy and they don't want to figure things out.
I mean, the vast majority of Magic players want to know what's going to work before they invest, and it's fair.
It is fair.
Listen,
but you're right.
For us content, which is a great time for us content creators because you guys want to watch what the new hot thing is and see what we're cooking up.
No, I'm lying.
Actually, no, Mardu to be good. Clearly, Rakdos joins up dinosaurs is the thing. So
no, I can't do it anymore.
You lose too much, right?
We
lose a ton on that deck. By the way, also if you've been playing on Arena Best of 1, I need to give credit where credit's due. So if you've been playing on Arena Best of 1, you've probably seen the Zombify Rakdos joins up Dino list that just pulls Gishath and Galta and these gigantic monsters out of the graveyard and then pings you to death with Rakdos joins up because you don't even need to freaking attack with that deck. It's ridiculous. Well, fun fact, actually, if you tuned into our coverage of the Bro Tour at Las Vegas, you would have noticed Carlo playing that exact deck before it was cool. And his list actually, yes, a little bit. That Dimir deck that Jaffer brought was not a great matchup for it, let's say. But
listen,
in any
I had a really good run yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday was Saturday, yeah. So I've been playing this deck even before the bans. Like you probably heard me talk about it at least once here. And so I go to a store championship yesterday. I win the store championship. I routinely was killing people on turn like 4. It was crazy. There was many matches where I won on turn 3, cheesing out Galta, plus putting other dinos from my hands into play off of Zombify, and it was crazy. So I win the store championship. I don't realize I got one of these cool little like I don't know how well you'll be able to see this in the video, but it is a City of Brass foil.
Let's go.
I'm like, ooh, I can put this in my commander.
I'm gonna tell you to flip it, and you're not going to.
No. And so, yeah, these are one of the cards that just stay with me forever, right? And so I come home and I realize that on Arena, the play-in qualifier is best of one standard. Now, I never play best of one standard, but if there's a deck to play in best of one standard, it's a deck like this. Because I don't need to care what anybody else is doing, right? Unless somebody's like main decking Rest in Peace for some reason, because they think they're going to get Omniscient in best of one. Who knows? So I make some changes. I take out a couple cards. I throw some Brotherhood End in the main. I mean, I'm going to play against aggressive decks in best of one. And don't you know, I played, I went 5-2 in the first run, so I had to go again, and then I went 6-1. So I played 11, 12, 13, 14 matches of Magic. Played it off stream, so nobody could stream snipe me. Whatever. I log on to stream, and I'm like, first, we qualified for this, so I get to play in that event next week. But two, I log on stream playing only this Dino deck, and so many people come in the chat, and they're like, what is this? I've only been playing against this deck today in the best of one ranked queue. And I said, This is what happens when Fire Shoes retweets your list. I apologize in advance, but everybody must have seen this list, what's going on, and they all wanted to see if they could cheese their opponent. You didn't play me. I am sorry, but if we have to unleash Jisath on the world, then we will, and it is what it is.
I just find it so funny. I've been playing best of 3 almost exclusively for weeks, and the other day I just decided I'll get a couple best of 1 games in, and like, hold up, Zombify targeting Gish. Hold up, I've seen this. Like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. That deck is very popular right now.
If you looked on the Mythic ranked ladder, listen, we hit Mythic on like July 4th or July 5th this month. Literally, I went from Platinum to Diamond with like an almost undefeated run with this deck in best of 3.
I don't.
So if folks had like went on Untapped and was looking at the data, like the deck's there, it's like, I'm sorry, y'all, but it's very fun to play.
Well,
I'll just have to do it again when the rotation happens, and we'll have to build a broken Doppelgang deck. It might involve Planeswalkers, and it is what it is.
You know?
You'll probably be playing Niv.
Could be. Well, so here's the thing. So that deck, we lose a Tali. Zombify and Rakdos Joins Up aren't going anywhere, though. And Gishath isn't leaving either. Galta is, though. So...
Nope. Galta Stampede Tyrants from Ixalan.
Wait, really? Oh, yeah, she is. Okay, I definitely thought she was from Marks of the Machine for some reason. I'm thinking Galta Mavrin. That's the version of Galta we're losing, and nobody's losing anything.
Oh, you're losing your Cascade Dino.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're losing a Tali. So the question is, is there a replacement for that? And I'll get to that in just a moment. However, we were talking about the 2-mana replacement, because the other very important card in the deck is Invasion of Urgamon. And that's red-green. And what that lets you do on turn 2 is you discard, draw, and make a treasure token. So there's one other card in Standard that does something similar, and that's Charming Scoundrel from Outlaws of Thunder Junction. But it does either or. It lets you rummage, right? So discard a card, draw a card, or make the treasure token. So you still have the guaranteed mana. So essentially what this means is the turn 3 cheese of Zombify isn't there. Unless you surveilled on turn 1, you bin the dino to your yard from the top of your deck, you cast Scoundrel on 2, then you could Zombify on 3. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the only way you can do this. But you need a Tali to keep spinning, right? So casting a spell of your opponent and of yours. So 2 things are going to happen in the newest build that I'll try. That is incorporating Polani's Hatcher in the deck, which gives all your dinos haste, and playing 6 mana Atali, which was reprinted in Foundations. That way you still get to, but it's an attack trigger, right? So that's why you need the haste, and unfortunately things would have to happen in the combat step as opposed to pre-combat. That's huge, because Jisath has haste, and Jisath cares about coming out before combat to attack to spiral into all of the dinos.
Yeah. That slows things down dramatically. Yeah.
The other thought is to make this truly a 4-color deck and play Sin Spear's Punishment from Final Fantasy. And use that as my Atali. Because that enables me to bin multiple dinos to the yard where Sin will make copies of on an Enters ability. Right? So if I can enter, make a copy of Jisath or Galta from my yard, Galta lets me put any number of creatures from my hand onto the battlefield. So I can resolve Sin's ability after I've been an extra legendary to the yard, make a new copy, and it triggers Rakdos Joins Up and stuff. Also, if Sin hits Trumpeting Carnosaur on 6 in the yard, I then get to discover 5, Rakdos Joins Up, rinse and repeat. So I'd have to get the mana base good and proper. But essentially, Sin can mirror what Atali currently does. Through that enters ability.
Okay, that's interesting. Now I'm curious. We do still have we still have Galta that can allow you to drop more things onto the battlefield. What about something like Earthshaker Dreadmaw to fill your hand? And then is there going to be something maybe with Roaming Throne naming Dinosaur so you can get multiple Galta triggers off one entering and then you refill your hand and keep vomiting? Or is that too Magical Christmas?
Well, in this deck we already have Vaultborn Tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
And Vaultborn Tyrant essentially lets us draw cards and gain life. And
it is
that allows us to stay afloat. Yeah.
Yeah. My thought is if this drops, you'd be able to draw just for each. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, this deck is already Magical Christmas Land and it's working. So I'm just wondering, like, how more magical can we get? That's really all I'm trying to. Yeah.
I understand that you guys like being in like a lot of people out there that like certain cards. Like being in their own magical world of like Jank and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I can never be convinced to willingly play Roaming Throne. The card looks terrible to me unless you're in Commander.
Yeah, in Commander it's amazing, but okay.
Well, Jaffer, let me have you know that folks are out there playing the Teamer Battlecrier deck, and you need Roaming Throne to win with that deck.
That's a critical part of
it. The what deck?
The Teamer Battlecrier combo with... You don't know what we're talking about from Tarkir Dragonstorm?
It's a thing of beauty.
I haven't seen the Teamer Battlecrier deck.
Might I recommend if you go over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/handbox42, I have my version of it out there. It's it's a whole thing. You play the entire deck is the idea. Teamer Battlecrier makes all your spells cost less for how many creatures you have. Outcaster Trailblazer becomes a 1-drop. Or you get a buff based on creatures with power 4 or greater. And so you drop Roaming Throne, and now all of a sudden your Outcaster Trailblazers are going to be drawing you 2 cards per thing entering and giving you 2 mana upon entering. And it's free because everything is enormous. It's very silly. And you basically play the entire deck, then drop Immodane's Recruiter, and just watch your opponent's life total disintegrate. It's a lot of fun. There are other ways.
One deck?
I mean, for the most part, but you can build it in best of 3. You can absolutely play it in best of 3.
Yeah, I haven't seen it at all. I haven't seen anybody play that card outside of Pioneer.
Probably
not the Teamer thing.
Yeah, the Teamer combo is that particular deck isn't very good right now, but when it lines up, when the pieces come together, it just wins on the spot, and so that's kind of interesting. Okay. And cards like Nature's Rhythm, give those kind of creature-based combo decks hope. So that's the kind of thing that Jank enthusiasts will continue to play, and Roaming Throne is a critical part of that kind of setup. So you're not wrong that the card on its face, as far as just the raw value you get out of it, isn't amazing. The reason that I was saying that specifically was it would allow a Galta trigger to trigger multiple times, and that could set up some stuff if you're incorporating card draw into that Dino engine more heavily. Okay. You're kind of emphasizing it more. That was my thought there. Yep.
I have a wish list of 2 decks that I hope work after rotation. One of them I've been playing quite a bit of, and Carlos seen me play it quite a bit, and it's too fair of a deck right now.
Okay.
Mardu midrange, or like a very creature heavy based Mardu deck.
Okay.
It's utilizing Alesha, FOMO, NT, Squall, Summon Brynhilder, Overlord of the Baelmark, and recent edition I added into it finally Helping Hand.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a pile of Mardu creatures that just you get to reanimate and stuff with Alesha, Helping Hand. Give like it has Lightning Army of 1 also. Just play a Brynhilder turn 2, turn 3, get a hasty lightning, and attacking, and like, oh cool, all my stuff deals double damage now.
That's awesome. I realize. Sorry for how funny that looked for everyone on the video feed. I saw someone doing that not too long ago using Jarina Dauntless General in a very like
Oh.
humans based list. Because this allows you to protect Alesha, then Alesha can bring Jarina back. That combo was amazing, and unfortunately, Jarina is going to be rotating soon because that had a lot of promise, and it was kind of more or less exactly what you're describing. And it created a kind of an engine to make sure the aggro just never stopped. It was kind of cool. So, yeah, I want to believe something like that could be possible. Yeah.
I hope so. It is just too fair, unfortunately. It feels too fair.
Yeah.
Like when it gets going, but like once like you're up against like something that just goes over the top, it's like, well, great. Okay. Like another like all-star of the deck, or that I'm just a big fan of this card now. Voice of Victory. That card is amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Voice of Victory is amazing.
Anytime I get to play that turn 2, no matter who I'm playing against, like 99% of the time, they use removal on their turn 2 to get rid of it.
Oh, they have to.
Sure. Yeah. Like it's great. And like this card I started playing with, I was trying to work on another Mardu deck. It was Mardu Mobilize, and it was a fun deck. It was like a raise the pass deck. So and this is a deck I would like to see some variation of it. Like be a thing after rotation. Like you raise the pass. I want to play Sephiroth. That's the whole point of the deck. Sephiroth. And then you play like some mobilized cards like the Goblin. No, Stadium Headliner. You play Voice of Victory. Then there is another card that Shocking Sharpshooter. I had these cards on my desk because I was trying to build in paper.
Oh yeah,
Shocking Sharpshooter.
The impact tremor creature.
Yeah.
And so then you have the one-sided Blood Artist from Vengeful Blood Witch, I think.
Yes.
Yep.
So you basically, and then like a one of Bartolome, maybe two of. Because then with the turns, like you go like attack in, like okay, you're just sack all my creatures, and then just raise a pass them all back. So you your opponent loses a ton of life, and then you gain a ton of life, and then just pain.
Now that deck gets a major creature upgrade in Edge of Eternities because there is an uncommon called Umbral Collar Zealot. It's a colorless and a black for a 3/2. With the ability to sacrifice another creature or artifact to surveil one. So it might be better than Bartolome because it's less of the color pip requirement.
And it's not legendary.
Yep, and not legendary.
The downside of Mardu, sort of, depends on how heavy you are in the colors, is that we don't have Blood Crypt. But we do have Inspiring Vantage, Concealed Courtyard. We will have
the Black Red Verge.
We have the Black Red Verge. We have the White Red Verge. We have Sacred Foundry.
Yep.
And then obviously Starting Town as well. So like, it's probably fine.
Yeah, it'll probably be all right. Yeah. Dude, Umbral Collar Zealot.
I'm happy. Anyway. Oh, that card does look sick.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy
unrestricted sack outlets. Keep them coming.
Like it's finally a good sack outlet in Standard that's not required to be in white.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm happy with the mana base that we're gonna have, but I'm a little unhappy about it for what we're gonna have after rotation. Like, it's annoying how we're gonna have half the fast lands, but it's whatever. I'm happy that Wizards made a comment about that at Vegas, how they're not going to do that again. Like I guess they said something about that at the preview of Edge when they talked about the Shocklands. So we're gonna get like
so that means you have to get the other half in a coming up Standard set
before the next rotation set. Yes. Presumably, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, from my understanding, we're getting half the Shocklands now, and in the next in-universe set, we're going to get the other half. So we have to wait 2 whole sets after Edge to get the next half of Shocklands.
Yes. So that's
okay. If they go by that, unless if all of a sudden they toss them into Avatar or Spider-Man, which I doubt they will.
I am curious to see how the lands are going to look in Avatar, but yeah, they don't necessarily need to be the shocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Maybe I know we're kind of segueing into it, like talking about another set, but like maybe they'll do something like temples of like I never watched like all of Avatar, but like what about like the temples or the places Aang traveled to learn bending or to meet the other avatars, like their spirits, because he did that in the show, right?
Oh yeah,
from my understanding.
Oh,
so, like, what if they did that for the lands?
Yeah, the first season of that show is absolutely a travel log of just their like journeys, and actually for the first, I mean, the majority of the original series is them traveling around the world and discovering stuff. So yeah, they could easily. I mean, they've got a lot of ground to cover. I have no doubt there will be a ton of. There will probably be some of the legendary lands representing the different cities that they go to. The different nations have a ton of like big landmarks in them. I'm sure they're going to be represented. It's going to be cool. Yeah. We're jumping the gun though. We haven't even traveled to space yet, and here we are.
Yeah. We got to travel to space first, y'all. Then we got to go to Spider-Verse.
Then we got to kick with Spider-Man,
and we get to experience Spider-Man 2 different ways: one in actual Spider-Man and paper magic, and 2 in universe different names on Arena and Play Magic Online.
Exactly. I can't wait for my Spooder Dude Brawl deck. That's gonna be fun. Yeah.
Not TM. Not
TM at all. We're gonna be royalty-free Spider-Man on Arena. Yeah, I can't wait.
All I know is the Spider-Man set better give me an Uncle Ben card. And then the Uncle Ben better have a cool name in universe. That's all I gotta know. I gotta know that my Uncle Ben's gotta do something.
Mechanically, Uncle Ben could definitely be like a Zach Fair style, like Death Trigger pass on, knowledge and power.
So by magic,
he's not going to be 1 mana. He's not.
Oh no, Uncle Ben's going to be bigger than this.
Probably a white card.
Probably.
Right? If the duty is to sacrifice yourself for the good, then Uncle Ben would have to be a white card.
Yeah.
Going to be a white card. Probably cost maybe 3 mana. Cost 2 or no. He's either going to cost like 1 mana or just to sacrifice. And it's going to do something about how would you shorten it?
You know what it probably is going to be? It's probably going to be more akin to like Aerith Gainsborough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, when she dies, all your legendary creatures get a buff. So that it could be something like that. Upon death, other things get stronger. Like that would make sense. Yeah. Anyway, so we're still jumping the gun, just not as far this time.
Yeah.
Right. Good stuff. Well, are there any other Edge of Eternities cards that you guys want to talk about while we're here? Because they've spoiled a ton, and I personally think a lot of them look very interesting. I'm curious. What have caught your guys' attention?
Cosmo Grand Zenith. This is a mythic. 2 and a white. It is a 2/4 non-legendary. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, choose 1. Create 2 1/1 human soldier creature tokens and put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control.
Oh, the card that would have paired with Corey Steelcutter?
They really were going to let this happen in Standard? Like, I know that it's not like casting 2 Sleight of Hands or Sleight of Hand up to trigger my artifact to make a creature. But Jesus, like, hello? Like, me being able to cast 2 spells a turn, making 2 creatures, and or making my monk, and then let my monks with prowess also get +1/+1 counters? They were going to let that happen. That's boggles my mind.
But
this card is still very good. And I think very standard playable. I mean, it's a 2/4, so it's got like decent stats. It fits right into the play multiple spells a turn type of deck if you wanted to do that. Even just casting 2 2-drops after playing this creature generates you 2 1/1s. And this fits right into a deck that plays Elspeth Stormslayer, which is probably one of the most powerful planeswalkers that will exist in Standard. So, sign me up for this card. But man, imagine if we got to play Corey Steelcutter alongside this card.
That's insane. Yes, and yes on all of these. The other thing I can't help but notice is a strong 3-drop creature, I immediately think, how would this work with Helping Hand? And I think pretty good. Because use Helping Hand to bring this out, and then with the remaining mana that you have lying around, you just do something else and then boost everything.
Yep.
And then if you have Oculus down, you're going to be manifesting Dread, so you're going to have a relatively wide board. Being able to put counters on all of those is a really great way to go over the top and just close. So, yeah. Like, this just looks good. I like it. Jaffer, how do you feel about this?
I think it's fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's gonna be busted or anything. I think it's just a solid card.
Fair enough. I'll take it.
It has the in my mind the now standard power toughness for a 3-drop now creature.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 2/4 is pretty typical now.
Yeah, like every 3-drop creature now is just a 2/4.
They do like
pretty
them.
much.
Yeah, 2/4 seems to be the sweet spot. Well, because I think a lot of typical removal in red at 2 is 3 damage, so your 3-drop surviving that is important, and they don't want to give us 3/4s. So, okay, 2/4 it is. Yeah, which is fine. But yeah, that's interesting. That's a good shout. And yeah, with Corey Steele out, that would have just been dumb.
Oh, go ahead, Jaffer.
Have one more card or cards I want to talk about, and then I want to segue into another thing.
Sounds good.
Yes.
The Shocklands.
Yes.
The alt arts for them. They don't look bad, but I'm not a fan of
okay.
If I win them or like in a prize pack or something, and I need that Shockland, okay, I'll keep it probably. But like, it's neat how they're looking up from a ship at like a planet or something, or at like the land, basically. I think it's neat, but I don't know. Like, I'm not a fan of. I was a fan of the Tarkir borders that were similar to this for the creatures. For a land like this, it's kind of to me. The creatures I really liked in Tarkir, like Voice of Victory or Yathan, something like that. Serac. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to somebody who like enjoys the alternate border of cards. So like all of these are sweet because I like to play mismatch cards personally in paper. I know I'm a monster.
I love it.
So I will play Stomping Grounds and whatever that look different from one another. I have to crack like my foil OG Ravnica version out, and it be the only one that's in that deck. But yeah, I mean, I like the space theme. They said Galaxy Foil was coming back in this set too, which is something they did in Unfinity. Which those cards were worth a bunch of money in Unfinity if you were chasing the Unfinity Shocklands. But I think they did all the Shocklands in Unfinity. So it's going to kind of seem strange to me that we only get 5 in this set that will experience the Galaxy Foil treatment again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of like
maybe they'll do a secret layer of the other 5. So that way you can have a chance to get that printing.
Yeah,
they could. That would be a good opportunity if they wanted to do something like that.
Yeah,
I
like it. I think it's fine.
I enjoy alt arts also. Like, I really enjoy alt arts. Like, if you ever see me play Pioneer in paper, and look at my Pioneer Junsack deck, it's all alt arted, unless if I can't. But like, I'm more of a fan of the Unfinity Shocks. Like, I have my fuller Overgrown Tombs and non-foil. I can't play foils. I don't want to. But and I have my Blood Crypts. Just the other one. I do have a Stomping Ground like that. They actually look really great. But I wanted to get the Water Graves, and I'm just like, no. If I'm not gonna play it in Pioneer on a regular basis, no.
Sure.
So I just went with the. I just wanted to get the card ahead of time, so I went with the Guilds of Ravnica Water Graves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
makes sense. Yeah, I honestly, I kind of really dig these alt arts. I think the creative decision of the perspective inside a lander landing on a like hostile environment. So the inside of the ship represents one color, and the exterior that they're like looking out over represents the other. I think that's an interesting design choice. And I don't know, I think it's cool. At the end of the day, though, this is unapologetically the space opera vibe. If you are not in on Magic being in space, then this is not the flavor you're looking for. And I get it. Like, that's totally fair. But I kind of like we're doing the space thing. We're going to go all in on the space thing. So here we go. I think it's interesting, and it definitely gives the perspective. Also, I find it interesting that you mentioned the Tarkir showcases as well, because those are interesting also in that they have a ton of black space on the card. So, like, I brought up Anafenza Unyielding Lineage, which is, fun fact, actually my desktop art right now on my computer, because this art just makes me happy.
Sweet art.
Yeah. It's just really nice, and it blows up beautifully. But so these cards have a ton of black space, and I heard from a lot of people that, like, that contrast to other cards made them difficult to distinguish between one another or tell, like, what color the card was at first glance. And I think those concerns are all absolutely valid. And, removing the card frame and just making it universally black does make it hard to read. Like, that's just true. And unfortunately, these shocks, like, if that's your beef with them, fair. Like, that's legit. That's real. They're all very dark. And so, like, reading across the table as to which, what colors are untapped isn't going to be as easy with these. And yeah, that kind of stinks. Yeah.
Now, speaking of lands, Ham,
yes.
My understanding is that you have a preview from Edge of Eternities that's coming, right?
I do.
And it happens to be from the Stellar Sites bonus sheet, which are all lands, to my understanding.
They are. Yeah. So the Stellar Sites bonus sheet is going to be it's the bonus sheet, which is, of course, the space that they can provide a ton of reprints that are kind of flavored to match the set, even though they aren't standard legal. And so some incredibly powerful cards are in there. Like, they've previewed Inkmoth Nexus, Cascading Cataracts, Scavenger Grounds, a lot of, like, beloved Commander staples that are also playable in older formats. So, sick. And yes, I do have a preview card in the Stellar Sites. The Stellar Sites sheet that was previewed today as you're listening to this, if you're listening to it the day that this comes out. So I suppose there's nothing stopping me from just pulling it up right now, because we're not live streaming. So as long as I can trust you guys to keep it on the hush hush. Because by the time
I'm telling everybody.
You dear viewers and dear listeners, by the time you're hearing this. So fun fact, there is a card from Mercadian Masks that is a kind of classic land that is getting a very pretty showcase treatment, and that is Dust Bowl is going to be in the bonus sheet, and I've gotten the privilege of previewing Dust Bowl for everybody. And the typical, like, the main set artwork for it, main set, all of the Stellar Sites bonus sheets have, like, fancy showcase art, and this is no different. There is the travel poster, but for the video feed, I brought up the base version, kind of the standard edition, which I think is gorgeous. And you see a planet that has clearly been either some kind of crazy cataclysm occurred, or there was some geothermal event, or it was just mind freaking hollow. But it is, like, collapsing and has been rent asunder in some catastrophic way. And yeah, Dust Bowl, it's an untapped colorless land where you can pay 3 taps, sacrifice a land, destroy target non-basic land. And really fun for all your land destruction lovers out there. It's a tool to go nuts, because you'll notice it doesn't get them a basic when you blow up a thing.
And definitely a land that you should have in this limited environment, because you can open up these cards in regular play boosters. And so, because you can do that, if you are drafting, or say the pre-release, you open up these cards in your sealed pool, you are allowed to play them. And if they are like the Final Fantasy special guests, these do not take the slot of your regular rare or mythic. And so it's basically you get a bonus rare or mythic, and Dust Bowl is like that land that you want against your opponent's Inkmoth Nexus.
Exactly.
Right? In case they happen to pull that and are trying to poison you out of the game. Something about that. So
exactly.
Why not blow it up?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very cool, and yeah, Wizards, thank you so much for letting me show the world that Dust Bowl is coming back. So yeah, it's very exciting. And yeah, sure enough, and you're right, with the bonus sheet being all lands, this is even more important in limited. Like, it might actually be relevant in limited, which I have a feeling in the last time we saw this was actually in Thunder Junction.
That's right.
Yeah, it was in there, and I don't believe that was relevant in limited at all. The breaking news sheet had Dust Bowl as well, which funnily enough, I find the one detail about that really interesting. Apparently, this version, the breaking news version of Dust Bowl, is worth like a quarter. Like, it's under $1. Which, okay, if it's not seeing tons of play somewhere, sure. But if you have an original Mercadian Masks, it's going for like 15.
Oh yeah.
And that price disparity is wild to me, because if it's in like if it sees play in like a Legacy Lands deck or something, like, do you really like would a newer printing be a problem? I don't know.
The Thunder Junction prosperity sheet was not the greatest of artwork on all of their cards.
That's fair.
To be honest. I think the same thing exists for cards like Thoughtseize, right? Like Thoughtseize is a card that is still like decently priced, but the Thunder Junction one is the cheapest by far amongst all of them. You know, it's just not as cool looking. Listen, put back up your preview card version.
Like,
if I had to pick a card to get out of a booster pack that was foil, with the foil person that I am, wanting to play them in my commander decks, which of these two would you prefer? The planet that's blown to bits, or the
rickety old shack with a horse trying to graze on sand in front of it? Yeah.
Right. Like, I imagine that the foils of these cards are going to look so incredibly nice.
Yeah, it's gonna pop for sure.
Now, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm assuming that these cards also come in the Galaxy foil versions, which means that they'll probably be highly sought after. I think all the lands are going to have that treatment. I don't know 100% sure. Don't quote me, but they're going to be the ones that are going to be the
basics
dollar
of
sign. Yeah,
for sure. Awesome. So yeah, so Dust Bowl coming back. Check it out. It's nice to be able to say that and share with folks, because it's very, very cool.
Now, I have a question that's not related to the previews.
Yeah.
So, are we gonna do something like the Bro Tour at MagicCon Atlanta?
I would love to, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be great. We're gonna have MagicCon Atlanta is towards the end of September, right? I think it's like the second to last week in September.
The 27th.
My birthday's during it.
Yeah.
Which is your birthday's during it?
Ooh. Yeah, it's on the 27th.
Oh, I'm gonna take you to the yard for your birthday.
Oh, let's go.
Yard.
Yes, look it up in Atlanta. Anyway, the you'll enjoy it. Believe me, it's the yard. There may or may not be milkshakes. There's probably milkshakes involved. It is. I mean, hey.
I love it.
So I would encourage you to first of all, Spider-Man is coming out for that particular MagicCon. I think the Pro Tour is actually modern.
Spider-Man MagicCon.
No, but we all know why, right?
Yeah.
So Edge of Eternities will be out, but so will Spider-Man, and the Pro Tour is modern. So, does that mean I got to bring a modern deck? No, I'm not playing in the Pro Tour, but we will have standard, plus Commander and such.
What I would like to propose for like a Pro Tour idea, maybe reach out to Cat and see if we can host like some kind of creator event, like how they do like the drafts and stuff, like the celebrity drafts and stuff.
Yeah.
What if we reach out there and see if we could do some kind of like content creator clash, standard clash, and so that way it doesn't. I know a draft takes a while, but I was thinking like so it doesn't take so long. Maybe do it where you cut the round half in half and life totals in half or something. But it should be fine as a normal event too, I think. But I think it'd be kind of fun to do something like that. Cap it at 8 people, 6 or 8 people, and make a single elim so that way it doesn't take forever.
I think something like that could be a lot of fun. Yeah.
And then like maybe a couple of us can live stream it too.
Absolutely. Well, and I think something like that would be a ton of fun. And honestly, like I'd be surprised if we could get more than 8 creators who are gonna have standard decks with them. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
the
tell them
thing.
in advance, you know.
Yeah, people could plan for it, but I think a standard showdown with creators in physical paper is something that strikes me as an underserved market potentially. That could be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could, if it doesn't cost too much, we could look at maybe getting like a 3D printed little trophy for first.
that's a fun idea.
Oh, that'd be
I'm here
pretty
for
cool.
it. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be down for doing something like that. Cool. Like we'll definitely discuss more on that. And you heard that here, folks. So keep me accountable. Don't let me forget this idea because we need to make sure it happens. Viewers, give me a hard time Yeah.
Speaking of MagicCon Atlanta, did come up. We had a lot of fun with live streaming. Like when I was live streaming on Sunday at MagicCon Vegas, everybody was like stealing my phone and like basically taking over my stream.
It was the best.
Out of all of us here, and it was a lot of fun. I think everybody had like streaming withdrawal for that weekend. But
100%.
yes.
Dude, I was tweaking, man. I needed it. Yep.
I proposed to MagicJank that we should all come up with a streaming schedule where one person streams on Friday, one person on Saturday, one person on Sunday. And I thought that would be a fun idea to do. So you could probably see something like that coming out maybe if we all decide to do that. But Ham needs to like get a probably better functioning phone.
I'm rocking an older iPhone, so I need to get either an upgrade on that or at the very least like an external battery pack that I could hook it up to so that I could keep it going.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out. I think the idea of just being live more from the floor is exactly what we ought to be doing. I love that idea. Yep.
Yes.
Cool. So is there anything else that we wanted to chat about? So Atlanta's coming up. We will discuss more about that. There are so many awesome Edge of Eternities cards that we didn't ultimately get to because this conversation was just rock solid. We'll touch on them later. And that's okay. Was there anything else that you guys did want to talk about or any individual cards or any other things you got coming up before we bring it in for landing?
Not really. I kind of just want to go because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten since this morning.
Oh my goodness. I get
feel
it.
you.
All good.
I think so. In terms of upcoming things that are going to be going on, this upcoming Saturday, the 19th. Yeah, the 19th. We are going to be doing. I'm going to be participating in a Magic Online game show.
Ooh.
So be looking to the Magic Online Twitch channel on Saturday. I think we're going to be going live with it around 12 noon Pacific. So I think that's like 3 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, it's going to be a sweet game show that's hosted by some awesome people. And there's a couple different creators who are involved in that. And yeah, more info is coming on that soon. So look on socials for that as we're allowed to release info about it. But yeah.
Heck yeah.
Pretty much what we got coming up.
I dig it. Very cool. Well, yeah, thank you, dear viewers, dear listeners. Like, subscribe, do all the things. You know how it goes. But if you made it this far, you probably already have. So thank you. You're awesome. We appreciate you. All right. So we'll be back next week, everybody. We're going to be talking about more Magic stuff, more previews, all that fun, happy action. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate you. Carlo, Jaffer, thank you, gentlemen. We'll catch you on the next one, everybody. Later.
Later.